What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me right here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the new documentary on the trail of Bigfoot, The Journey. Excuse me. So this is about a cryptid documentarian who goes out into the wilderness in New York to look for Sasquatch, and he's joined by the Monster Quest guy, Steve Cole. Steve Cole, is that his name? Steve Coles, and they spend a week out in the wilderness looking for Sasquatch. Now, you know, I love Expedition Bigfoot. I love Finding Bigfoot. I love these shows on Discovery Plus. Now, this is not a Discovery Plus show. This is actually a show I rented it on video on demand. I think I paid $3.99 to rent it, and it really kind of followed a lot of the same tropes that those shows follow, where you've got some people staying out in the woods for an extended period of time looking for Sasquatch, and also interviewing witnesses. There was a really actually really interesting story where they interviewed multiple members of law enforcement who each claimed to have the same experience with Bigfoot. So that was actually the highlight of the documentary for me, was them interviewing, getting the story from these police officers. Because let's face it, you know, police officers, when they experience Bigfoot or something like that, I think that it tends to add a little bit of credibility to it. You know, whether or not that's fair or not, I think that it does. So this documentary kind of follows them through their week. It kind of goes through some of the experiences that they have out in the woods. It's a lot of, you know, just like Finding Bigfoot, it's a lot of woods time. And, you know, there's some noises that we hear, there's some stories that we hear, and at the end of the day, nothing is really found. We get to, you know, we get to hear what's his name again? It's Steve something. No, Seth Breedlove. We get to hear his perspective on Bigfoot, and you know, this was filmed during the pandemic, so we get to hear him kind of drove on about how great it is to get out into the wild during the pandemic, to get back out to trying to hunt cryptids with his camera and all that was good and fine. This was not captivating to me. I didn't love this. I mean, it was just, to me, this was kind of dull. It was not as good as Expedition Bigfoot, and I didn't feel like the information was as good as Expedition Bigfoot, and I felt like it wasn't as entertaining as Finding Bigfoot. It was just kind of it felt like an amateur out making a Bigfoot documentary with some good equipment. That's kind of what it felt to me, and that was kind of a bummer, because I really had hope that this was going to be good. But at the end of the day, it didn't really hit for me like those other shows did. It felt like it hit a lot of the same beats. And like I said, the stuff with the police officers was some of the strongest stuff. But I just didn't care for the documentary. So I don't know. Has anybody here watched it? If you liked it, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear why you liked it, because it didn't work for me. So while you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content. Want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Till next time, we'll see you later.